Welcome, everybody, to Positive Traction with your host, moi, Henry. I am very thankful to continue some more seasons with you and just the people that I get to meet, the guests that I get to bring to the table, for you guys to hear some insights of things that I love to hear and curious about. So today, I had to do this right because he has some good things, and I don't want to mess this up for my buddy Victor here. Victor is a Hollywood filmmaker who has directed and produced shows like American Family, aired in the U.S. and on the UK and American Prime, Amazon Prime. He's also a former martial arts champion with 5 world international titles. And one of the things that I've seen firsthand in the time I've known him, that he is purposeful about educating and uniting in all the things that he does. Welcome to the show, Victor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Victor, to give a little content of you, you were originally from Europe. Can you share a little bit about that background, and then when you came to the U.S. and how that kind of came to be to bring us up to speed on what you've done? Because I think that has a big part of you making the impact you have in Hollywood and also coming in technically as an outsider, if you will. You came in with the bang. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, probably that's a better way to call me, because on my green card before I became the citizen was just an alien, right? So legal alien.
Legal
right?
alien, yes.
Let's make it clear. um, I was born in a, I would say, intercultural, multicultural family, which I'm grateful for, because I was exposed to different cultures, Austrian, Romanian on my dad's side, my mom's Polish heritage, and I've lived all around, from Central or Western European countries to the Eastern Europe, which made me tougher, and which taught me to see through the nonsense and not to buy it. And as much as I kind of regret not being born here and not having school here, I do appreciate my European family education and my scholar education, because in many ways, especially, primary school, middle school, high school, we go a lot tougher on the subjects, on being a professional. And I'm happy that I can bring value to the communities here. I don't really focus on Hollywood. Hollywood is a very changeable community, if I could say so, except probably the A-listers. They are always here.
Right.
But the communities, and we have so many cultures, especially here in California. It's been a great pleasure to stand by the Asian community when the anti-Asian hate erupted, or what's happening right now with Israel and the Palestinian community. So it's all about value to me, and if I see I can't bring any value, I just don't show up. It doesn't make any sense. But we can do so much, especially for the kids, because we are the present, they are the future.
Yeah.
And when I see them becoming active, making money, because we are in a capitalist country.
Yeah.
We have to make the country strong and great, which hopefully we started doing that since the 20th.
Yeah, a couple days ago.
So,
yeah.
Right. So that's, I guess, the shortened story.
Well, I love it. And again, you have an array. So as I was talking to the team, especially in the books and getting to know you, you have a wide range of things. But part of the goals of the show for me is to help people. Let's say we're going to focus on 3 things of your big library, and people can grab one of them or all of them and hopefully apply it to their lives. So I want to start with one is like you coming in as a legal alien from an outsider. What was your passion directly? I mean, as you were coming to America and you're like, maybe you already knew, which you'll tell us in a second, or when you got here, how did you get into filmmaking? How did you really come in? Because that's one of the, probably being an actor, a singer, or a professional athlete are top for other people to want to come into America, right? That's what they come in for. Very few actually can say they've made it, let alone build a life around that. You are one of those few. So what was your initial drive to come to America And did you know this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I wanted to be the best, and I knew that if I want to be the best, I have to compete with the best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the best in a competition with the losers. I'd rather be the last in a competition with the best,
Mm-hmm.
just like my mentor, who I didn't meet yet, Quentin Tarantino, says.
Yeah.
And that was the choice. It was not clear enough for me before I came the first time. I lived in New York before I moved here, so I fancy myself as a New Yorker. Well, but when I stepped on the soil and I took a breath, I knew it's my home. I didn't want to stay illegally,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, because it's just not my way of doing things, even though it's a lot easier and you get a lot of benefits. I decided to take a correct path because it's a long-term investment
Yeah.
in my way, in my um, opinion. And I think that our country, the best country in the world, has this energy, the vibe that if you connect to it, no matter if you are in New York, in LA, in Little Marion, in Arkansas, um, it just fuels you.
Yeah.
And then you want to build everything the best here. And then when we are great at everything, we can help other countries to support our allies, obviously, because we do have a few enemies around the world. And it's just been since then. I mean, you do something nice to the people, they smile to you, they are polite, they appreciate. You don't get this appreciation everywhere in the world.
Right.
When someone hits you on the pedestrian crossing, or when you walk in China, for example, they don't say sorry.
Yeah.
And I think only in comparison, when you go to communist countries, when you go to third world countries, you appreciate America
Yeah.
a lot. This is what modern kids are lacking.
Mm-hmm.
They don't appreciate what they have. They don't know the difference.
Right. They haven't been exposed to it. So I have, and again, I've had a chance to see some of your work and what you've shared, but what did you know you wanted to be like as a profession? You had, obviously from your martial arts, and I know because I've done martial arts, I know how hard it is to become a champion, stay a champion, and let alone do it 5 times in different ranks. So congrats on that. And I have 2 questions on that in a moment. But before that, did you in filmmaking and the avenues and writing books and what you're doing, is this something you knew you wanted to be great? You came to America because you knew the best of the best, the vibe connecting. Is this the path that you knew, or did it kind of evolve as you stepped? And I'm asking that because not everyone's always clear. They know they might have your initial dream. I want the best. I want to come to America, but they might not know what that is yet. Did you know what that was, or did you figure it out as you stepped?
Well, we always figure out more as we make the next step. In the beginning, I did have a bit of a thought. I don't think I have dreams. I claim I have only goals,
Mm-hmm.
which is a little less dreamy. And as I continued developing, I saw that, hey, I don't want to be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, directing or filmmaking, creation of a project, to me, it's not just, oh, it's artsy. No, I think it's nonsense. It's business. And I get a lot of joy when we have project in, we have money coming in, when investors believe and they make money,
Mm-hmm.
when our crew, everyone makes money, they buy houses, they can invest, they have more opportunities for the kids. This is what drives me.
Mm-hmm.
I have more employees or contractors, whatever people I employ, and we
Yeah.
can get paid, right? So that's the thing, and it developed more and more as it went. Um, I moved to LA after I won one of my titles, and I was invited to a film. First, I was as an actor, then actor and fight choreographer, and then I discovered, hey, you guys don't pay attention to efficiency, effectiveness, logistics, finance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good at that. I'm good with math. So they saw that I'm good with the numbers. And that's how that transition
Mm-hmm.
continued. And then, if you take a project of, let's say, $50,000 and an actor gets $500, does it make sense to want to be an actor? No. And in my life, I always was a producer. I wasn't a consumer. Even my European martial arts school, I didn't go to someone else's. I created my own. I met my shifu. I've been his student for quite some time. And then I said, shifu, let's open a school for the public so they can learn authentic martial arts, because authentic is rare.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I get, because I want people, because you're an inspirational story and a life now, not past tense. You're living it. You're like not even in your prime. I think you got some even better years ahead of you in a great way. That being said, what I take from what you're saying is you wanted to be the best. You had the desire. You started with martial arts, other things that you knew you had it in you. So you moved to America. You did the hard route, like you said, to become a legal citizen, which is a harder route. But as you were going, the constant that I get from you is you see needs or gaps in something and you know how to fill them. And you fill them, no, but not just for the benefit of yourself. You're constant in this message, uniting and blessing others. You're very constant in that message. So that's an inspiration. That's why I wanted people to gather, they're listening going, okay, like you said, I might not have it all figured out. Call it a goal, a dream, an incentive, something. But the key here, I believe what you're saying is to step, be open, figure it out as you go. You saw some gaps and it eventually led to more Hollywood stuff, producing, directing. You're good with numbers. So that kind of evolved. So tell us then, which of these was your first book that you wrote?
The first one that I finished was The Showrunner. Because the one on relationships, I was writing for quite some time with changes because, and it's all sort of personal experience. I don't claim myself as a, shrink or an expert. Like right now, we have so many experts. It's just my personal experience based on my studies, based on my mistakes. I've had a lot. So that was probably a decade-ish, give it a take. The Showrunner, I put together after we released season 1 of My American Family, which transitioned in season 1 of a cooking show, season 1 of Life Academy, educational TV series for kids, on air, the practical talent show for kids again. And I saw that all my methods work. So I put it all together in a book, in a blueprint, so people, students can go there and make money and stop making mistakes of the past. Because what people tend to do, or what are they advised by their agents or managers? You create something, you pitch to the studio, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you have so many and better chances to work with private equity. Like, be smart, open up. With all respect, not all the agents and managers are the brightest. A lot of them live in the 90s, maybe 2000s, and it's a different time right now.
And guys, please hear what he's saying, and that's great advice. I say it's great to question everything in a good way. We use a term in our business, trust and verify.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust you, but like how many times, hey, this still good? Am I going to still see you? Like, yeah, even though Victor is as reliable as a clock, and you are, thank you, but it's still, life happens. Some things are outside of control. So guys, this if you're listening to the podcast, it's called The Showrunner. We'll have it in the tags and everything, and it's great. And I'm looking forward to get into it because I like that you just said it. You've summed up your life experiences, methods that are working for you and people that you've seen, and you're sharing it with the world at a reasonable price. So that is wisdom, guys, in my opinion. Wisdom isn't just learning from your own mistakes. That's great. But wisdom is also being able to see others, right? Different sifus, different senseis. And and then you ultimately create a style that works for you. So I love that. So just because there's so many things to cover with you, if there's one method in this book that stands out to you personally, is there one specific that stands out, or one that you think would be, in layman's terms, someone's going to go like, it's going to apply? Is there something there specific?
Invest in your brand first.
Oh, I like that. There it is, guys. And I'm going to say thank you, and I received that from me. Invest in your brand first, because I believe there's a prayer that says the prayer of Jabez, and I love that prayer. It says, "Bless me indeed, O Lord." Right? People at first think, "Oh, that sounds selfish." I go, "No, it's quite the opposite. The best Henry is going to give the best."
Right.
Like you said. So that's why I think you and I have a line so humbly, so beautiful. So Thank you for that. All right. So another great question that we put together as we were kind of trying to is, what is one of the projects in Hollywood, specifically since you've been here in America in this season of your life, that was the most rewarding for you personally? Um, was it because it was challenging and you got through it, or is it because it went so successful, the effects blessed people? Is there something that comes to mind, and why?
Well, I would say it remains to be seen because thank God we were growing. And I see my craft growing. I deliver much better product than it was back in the days, even with my American family. Right now, I'll do a different style, a different, a lot of improvements. But that's secondary. Most importantly, that we create a valuable project, which is valuable for the community and for the investor. The community gets healthy content for the family. Investors get their money,
Yeah.
doubled, tripled, whatever is in the contract, and it evolves.
Yeah.
Everything was to me rewarding because it's a finalized product. People get paid. We create jobs. We pay taxes. Kids are getting practical education. Again, we hire people. We pay taxes. So we contribute to the economy. I'm not saying we are as big as Apple, obviously not, but it is growing. And now we'll be developing a new animation show. We're developing maybe a limited series or a larger series with Small Business Administration to push their content to teenagers.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it remains to be seen because
I love it.
we also have another film. So since the end of 2022, we pivoted towards film a little bit more with documentaries and now with features. And now we have in pre-production a feature film, a story based on a true story, which happened in the Navy in 1986. Corruption in military justice system. Very powerful story. And we do plan to push it to the president. We do plan to push it to the Oscars. It's a fun battle with the Oscars and with the right message and many more. I mean, I see myself filming with Quentin Tarantino.
I love it.
And arguing with him, and he'd be using substandard language, and I would not, because but life has to be meaningful, and I keep searching for meaningful things to deliver.
I love that. Well, and I think that's one of the great things, Victor, that I've admired, and I look forward to our developing friendship and business because like-minded people are important, right? I mean, we need the haters and naysayers because part of that helps us up our game and stay grateful. But at the same time, it's neat when you meet others who can say, you know what, Vic, that sounds like a good idea. Or, hey, Henry, keep on, right? So I want to, before we get to the next book, I've had a chance to see some of your interns, and you speak very highly of the interns. But you do something that, again, I want to really spotlight. You're helping, because a lot of people, like you said, our generations now, the Zers and the Alphas and all the ones coming up, no, they don't know. Even some of the millennials don't know because they've never traveled. You've had a chance to travel. You've had a chance to see culture. You've seen communism. You've seen things. So your appreciation of America is beautiful, right? Unfortunately, some people, again, it is privilege. They don't know. Yeah. It's not their fault necessarily because they're not old enough to travel. So what you've done is you're bringing some of that out. So in some of your intern teens, can you walk us through one or two of some of that process so you can, people can get inspired and maybe they're a young audience and they can go get an intern. How have you developed something that's currently affecting a great difference in these interns, and what can others do to find their way?
Well, first of all, we do real things, right? We don't need participation medals. If we go compete, it has to be a real competition. It has to be a real feedback because when we get into the real world after school, no one is going to give you a compliment if you're not doing a good job. So, for example, with one of our leads, Jocelyn.
She's great. I got to know, I don't know her obviously, but through your social media, I've gotten a chance to see some of the highlights of what you've been sharing on that journey. Continue, sorry.
Yeah, so when we were filming on air, and she also sings, and she wanted to be a part of the show. She became the finalist, by the way, but the most iconic moment to me was when one of our judges and also mentors the real deal lady. Like she's tough. She will, you know, and she gave Jocelyn a lot of advice, but in a real way, not complimenting or
Hmm.
no nonsense. And I see Jocelyn is standing there, kind of shaking a little bit, and the tears are coming out. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? Now she's walking out of the stage, out of the room. She went to the bathroom. I'm like, well, either we lost her or I don't know. 5 minutes later, she comes back. It's a rebirth of a human being. And I was happy and fortunate enough to film that
Wow.
because there was a different Jocelyn on the stage. There was different voice. There was different power, different energy. And we did it. So
Wow.
if we can do it with one, with two, we can do it with many.
Yeah.
And I see it works. So no fake medals, no appreciation without earning it. Real deal. And it does work. Later on, if the kids, teens, young adults, whoever, if they get a chance to go travel, go ahead and
Yeah.
see. But at least we have to eliminate all these gift medals and stuff like that.
Well, I'm with you. Look at it. We in the real world, there's no such thing, right? You don't. But I think you're doing your part. I know you are. Like, and that story you just gave me, like you said, she took 5 minutes, regrouped, and came out better than ever.
Yeah.
And that's only going to set her up to succeed because that is life. And I love that you're doing that. So now take us to this one here. It's an interesting, and I haven't a chance to get into it yet, but it says how to be a good life partner based on your own life story. So what was your mindset with this one, and what did it mean to you?
Well, it's a complex research on who am I, what's my role. I do come from a old school European traditional background, and with no disrespect to any other beliefs and stuff like that, it's nothing hypocritical. Everyone has their own belief, their own choice. But through all of my through my journey, through all my mistakes, and everything that I was seeking for, seek and you shall find. I just put it together, and in our journey, I believe it's not that you have to find a good partner; you have to become one. You don't have to chase.
Hmm.
You create. You become a value man in man's case, and then you attract.
Yeah.
You attract different things. Obviously, you have to educate yourself. You have to know what you want. But also, the other side of the story is right now online as well. We have so many experts,
Right.
including these extra tough male personalities on camera. I don't know if they're as tough in life, whatever, but they have so many advice on you don't, allow your woman to drive. You like, who cares? On my first event in Hollywood, I met an older gentleman, a producer, and he told me, Victor, do you want to succeed in Hollywood? I'm like, of course. Who doesn't
Right.
want to?
Right. Right.
And he said, number one rule, and I'm not going to say the whole thing because there's an F word, so I'll just, but he said, shut up and listen. If you can do that, you will succeed. And the same thing I would love to tell all these men influencers, like, keep it quiet. Okay, everyone will figure out. And if I'm with a lady and she wants to drive, drive. It doesn't make me less of a man. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
And all these agendas about cooking and cleaning, like, if I love cooking, I'll go and cook because I love cooking.
Right.
If my lady wants to cook for me because I was tired, great.
Yeah.
But it's not an obligation. It has to come from within.
Right.
And it comes from within when you take all that unnecessary pressure away.
Yeah.
If someone cooks for you, whether it's a guy or a girl, and they're unhappy, that is a toxic piece of meal,
Yeah.
which you
Yeah.
don't want to consume. It's better to not have it. Like Omar Khayyam says, you better starve than eat whatever.
Yeah.
But like, focus on yourself, just like Lao Tzu, the creator of Tao Te Ching, said, you discover your own inner world and you will understand the exterior world. And talk less with, Andrew Tate, Brad Lee, all these masculine men on camera. I mean, the more you talk, the smaller general you have between your legs. So
Right.
keep it quiet. We have such a unhealthy polarization because of the Democrats, Republicans, this or that, we have to calm it down. And just like one of the actors, Morgan Freeman, said, just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Stop talking about racism. Stop talking about this. Calm it down. Let's heal. And we do need it, especially in LA, especially California, because I haven't seen people hitting each other that much because of politics as people do in California. For some reason, I don't know why.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, and again, this is why I had to unpack, because as you have such a array, but I want people to hear this show, see this show, and I want to do my part as I bring in some great guests and people with great things to share. So what I get from that book, and this is why, and I'm excited to really dive into it, is that you're all about be the best life partner, right? And I love that. And that, again, aligning, because one of my words for this year is build. And people go, no, it's not build like more, which will come. It's build the best me.
Yeah.
The best me will attract, right? The old saying is, don't chase butterflies, build a beautiful garden.
Exactly.
They'll find you.
Yeah.
So I love that, Victor. And again, I'm quickly going through that because there's a lot of good things here. And last but not least, as far as this book, now this one, How to Build, I mean, the title alone is very intriguing for people, right? How to Build Your Success in Hollywood, a practical guide for models, actors, and actresses in Hollywood. So what is the summarization of this book that you feel, because there's a lot to impact in that title alone. And like you said, a lot of people, look at what little I know, so I'm going to share my naiveness, but know enough to go that most people's intention in this city aren't good. Okay, it's unfortunately they take advantage. It's for the money. It's the next big thing. But there's a lot of good people like you that are trying to educate, give information, so people can make better decisions. So, what are a couple practical things that someone that wants to make it in Hollywood, whether it's an actor, producer, anything in that realm, that they could find in this amazing book and through your words of wisdom?
Well, since you are connected with quite a few actors and actresses, I would say forget about listening to the old school advice of getting your headshots, wasting your money on acting coaches, teachers, again, coaches, whatever you waste your money on. It's the past. Invest in your brand. And when you go to acting school, it's acting school business of students. They don't have the resource. They're not in the business. Connect with producers, directors, maybe the one who is on the top tier, like James Cameron, would not respond to your message on LinkedIn, but directors, producers, filmmakers on tier 5, 6, 4, 7 out of 10, like myself, for example, right? We are responsible because we look for people to work with, just like Quentin. He was always working with almost the same people all the time. Build your relationships, build your brand, build the value, because we choose to work with people who are bringing value to the table.
Yeah.
Acting school is not a value. It's you paying money to someone else. So again, just like I said with the first book, invest in your brand.
Yeah.
What is your brand? What is that about? Brand, marketing, sales, right? If you have no brand, you cannot do marketing.
Right.
Without marketing, you cannot do any sales.
Right.
And we have so many talents, or who consider themselves talents. So why would I choose talent A versus talent B, right? And work on communications, because they cannot communicate, in spoken language or in written. I in my book, I recommend to use diplomatic letters as an example to show your class. I love classy,
Right.
And I think that anyone would appreciate that. Stop following advices of the employees. Like we have so many workshops of casting directors. They're employees. They work from whatever. It's nothing wrong to be an employee. I'm just saying that they're not the decision makers. They can maybe put your picture or whatever resume to the director's table. But in the end of the day, it's a producer. It's a director who decides. So just be wise with your strategy. Invest in your brand. Work with PR managers. Get the information out there, so we know about you. So we want to work with you, and just forget about all these go to acting school, get your headshots, find an agent, find a manager, take responsibility of your own fate in your own hands, not in the hands of an agent.
So what I get from that, and I love that. What you're saying is when you're building your best you, which you wrote about, when you're building your best brand, which you're highly, that's a marketable because you have better clarity of what that brand is.
Yeah.
Right. If you are a good athlete, every good athlete has to make a choice at one point. What's going to be their main sport, right? Because you can't be all. Bo Jackson is probably one of the best examples. It's many years ago, old school, but he had a chance to. He got a full. He could have been a professional baseball player,
Right.
or football player,
Right.
and he chose football. The other sports helped make the game better for him, but he had to choose.
Right.
And so I love that. So I think a practical step for people listening to you is be that, build that, right? Because then you can believe in that, even if it tweaks a little bit along the way, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But at least you're making decisions. So I love that. Now, a couple of things I want to get people to get from you, because again, you have so many things that I wrote. Specifically, what I hear from you more than filmmaking, even though that is how you're making your money, I assume many other areas, but that's the message I get from you. So maybe people listening and watching get from you is that whatever you do, find a map that works in that brand for you. So what's one of the hardest things that you have dealt with in the last 5 years? So something more relevant that was a big challenge for you, because obviously you're a very positive person. You speak very well. You are very confident in the sense of how you come across. But that didn't happen by luck. That didn't happen by just you woke up one day. That took some sacrifice along the way. So what is something more relevant that helped you become that? What are some obstacles that you're willing to share with people so they can see that it does take effort and grit?
Everything, well, from the beginning, when I lived in Europe, and then also in the Eastern European countries, when the communist wall fell, it was just anarchy and stuff. So punches when you take in the face, and you stand up and you keep fighting. I lost a few teeth, right? You don't fight in America. You sue each other.
Right.
We don't. Right. We test each other with our fists, till coming here, starting from scratch, finding out what is me, what is my brand.
Yeah.
And it began with effective, efficient, right? And then, okay, let's see how that works. It was a lot of self-education. Yeah. Because all the information that we have on surface and even deeper is get a headshot, get an agent. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why. It's just maybe my inner voice and other things. Losing people who I thought were my friends, and then I learned that, hey, if you lose that person, he's not a friend, right? Biblical studies, studying languages. I speak 8 languages, right? So you have to always push your mind to over exceed the limits. Yeah. Making wrong decisions, making mistakes in personal life. So you almost lose your life. Yeah. I ended up, because of my wrong choice, I was kind of homeless in LA for quite some time. So all of these things, they open up your eyes, and they either break you or they make you. And as I could see, this made me better, made me stronger. And now I'm very happy to face a challenge, take a punch, and punch back, and then destroy. I am a very competitive person. Yeah. In a calm way. I'm not jumping and talking, even though one of my mentors, who I consider my mentor, Dan Peña, he's very strong in his expressions. I'm sitting and I'm observing, like your producer does, right? Yeah. So all of these things, it's a process. Nothing comes overnight. Yeah. No 6-pack, no black belt. There's no black belt in 6 months. Just, we don't have to follow any illusions. We cannot be delusional. Yeah. There's nothing that is granted. Well, I think some of what I've gathered from you, Victor, that I appreciate
and I think people listening to you, is the simplicity that is complex, which is you're not afraid to step. And it's a great message because you find a lot along the way, right? You
Mhm.
find, and most people, and I know you've seen this, are afraid to take a step. And they try to overthink it. And sometimes you just can't overthink it. You just need to step. And then when you step, it's like, ooh, I think I'm going the right way. And if anything, if you have a good attitude, you find great things along the way. Even if it's the wrong direction, there's good things,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I hear from you is you've been able to take a humbleness because, like you said, you've seen a lot of bad,
Mhm.
and you've been able to bring good to it. And instead of you being bitter and angry and resentful, you're actually quite the opposite. You're full of joy and
Mhm.
content, and you made your mistakes help become your brand. So and that's why I was trying to really bring this together so people could hear more of you. But if there's something that our listeners can take away from you that sums up Victor in this season of his life, and the best is yet to come. And I know you believe that. I definitely do. I can't wait to continue to see your show, life unravel in a good way forward. What is something that you feel is practical for someone to take away today that sums up Victor?
Well, that's probably another episode. But
It is. And I look forward to
but
it.
question things. Um, seek for the truth.
Mm.
I know that people would speculate that everyone has a different truth, but there is common sense, which has been lost for quite some time. I'm hoping that now it's gonna get back. Take your life, your destiny in this world,
Yes.
not the God's work, but what you can do in your control, in your on your street, in your district, town, city, state, country. You cannot be a couch potato
Yeah.
and not vote.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe some votes are not counted, whatever. It's not up to us. Our responsibility is to go and vote and not be an irresponsible member of the society,
Right.
right? Clean your street, make your bed. I mean, everything. Um, don't be fooled by everything that you see online. People are trying to sell things and become MTV movie stars overnight. I get it. Everyone wants to make a living. Everyone has a dream, but be the producer. Don't be the follower. Don't be the consumer.
Yeah. I love that, Victor. And I received that from you. So, with that being said, what can people expect, or something that you'd like to do a plug for yourself, something that you're looking forward to in this process, and anybody that wanted to ultimately connect more to you? And again, when we put this out, we're going to tag your books and tag you, and of course, and because I love your story, I really do. I love the way you do things, and I've seen it firsthand that you're willing to your words back up with actions, and that's awesome. So that being said, what's something as a fair way that someone can last impression people from the show can hear for you today?
Well, we keep grinding. We fight for the truth. It's easy to follow the lies, so we don't choose that path. And with our educational shows, reality or animation or family shows like My American Family, impactful feature films, documentaries. I also develop water purification.
Hmm.
It's been a long journey, over a decade, but now with my wonderful partner, Mr. Jack McCauley, who created Oculus and many, many other things, including the mouse wheel that you're using, um, we will be able to provide our citizens with pure water
Hmm.
without impacting negatively the environment. So many things to come, including my ambition to run either for the state senate or even the governor, because I do want to rebuild California in a nice way, the way it was
Yeah.
back in the golden years of California. We have so much of the potential, great people, great weather, natural resources. We cannot have
Right.
what we have right now. So we have many things that we develop, but not too much, right? We cannot be masters of everything and then become just master of nothing.
Yeah.
But everything is about the community, value, health, education, and prosper future.
Well, Victor, you unpacked a lot of good things in a short amount of time, and I appreciate that. And definitely, if you go down the political realm, obviously I'll know, and you'll let us know because I'll definitely vote for you. That's for sure. I love the way you think, and we need that. So I want to support that, and that's why this show, guys. And thank you, guys. You know, I loved having Victor on here because he is very direct in a good way. He found a way. Because I have a lot of Eastern European friends, and they can be very direct, not much of a filter sometimes. You have a beautiful filter. You're still saying the truth, but you're saying it with respect, and I respect you for that. But guys, please listen to what Victor had to say. He had some great insights. We'll do a couple giveaways for some of his books too to support his cause and the interns and things, everything you do. And Victor, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your words and your support. And guys, thank you for tuning in another episode of Positive Traction. I'm your host, Henry. And thank you, Victor. Until then, guys, God bless.